Have you seen what's happening in your sanctuary lately? Join us right now for another episode of Your Sanctuary, a program that highlights what makes our national marine sanctuaries so special and the people that keep them that way.
Welcome to Your Sanctuary. My name is Paul Michelle, and I'll be your host for this special show that will highlight many of the amazing things to do and wonderful places to visit on the central coast of California, all along the shores of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. This sanctuary is one of America's most spectacular marine protected areas, with beautiful beaches, jewel-like tide pools, lush kelp forests, deep ocean canyons, and an offshore seamount, all just teeming with life. Monterey Bay is one of 14 underwater parks that are managed and protected by the National Marine Sanctuary System, all told encompassing more than 170,000 square miles. We are proud to be custodians and stewards of America's ocean treasures. These places mean so much to communities, our culture, and our livelihood. This show speaks to the importance and connection of sanctuaries with recreation and tourism. We call it the Central Coast Experience. Come on, let's dive into Your Sanctuary. Hi, I'm Paul Michelle, Superintendent of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. National Marine Sanctuaries are our nation's special ocean treasures. And here in California, we're so fortunate to have 4 marine sanctuaries: Cordell Bank, Gulf of the Farallones, Monterey Bay, and Channel Islands. These special places protect and highlight amazing ocean wildlife, ocean habitats, and the rich maritime history of the region. In this series, we're going to take a road trip. We're going to go from the Marin Headlands here north of the Golden Gate Bridge, 276 miles south to the little town of Cambria. From the Marin Headlands, you have the best view of the iconic Golden Gate Bridge, backed by San Francisco's spectacular skyline. Over 110,000 people cross the 1.7-mile long bridge each day, and it's an exhilarating walk if you like high places. San Francisco is a major destination for visitors, and the Bay Area hosts 2 major ports of call. Just below the Golden Gate lies Fort Point, an interesting Civil War area experience, and the offices of our sister sanctuary, the Gulf of the Farallones National Marine Sanctuary. The spotlight segment for today's show is with Superintendent Maria Brown. Maria, you have a great little visitor center here, which we're going to check out, but what else is there for folks to do right here on Crissy Field?
Oh, there's lots of things to do on Crissy Field. During a nice day, the beach is crowded with people just enjoying the beach. There's also Fort Point, which is right down the road. It's an old historic fort. You can go inside, visit the rooms, and from the roof you can see underneath the Golden Gate Bridge, which is an amazing sight of underneath the towers. And if you're lucky and there's good waves, you're going to see some serious surfers out there as well. If you'd like to take a trail, there's the coastal trail, which I mentioned earlier, but there's tons of trails throughout the Presidio, and you can see a natural spring coming up where people used to get their drinking water in the Presidio. There's museums, such as the Disney Museum is on the main post, and you can take a look at a real Oscar. And there's the main post field. And during the summer, Off the Grid comes, and you can enjoy a picnic right there on the field, or bring it down to the beach and come to the visitor center.
Oh, that's great. Now, I really want to get out to the islands, so maybe next time you'll take me out there.
Great. Come join us on a whale watch, and we'll take you to the islands.
Great. Thanks, Maria.
Thanks, Paul.
Don't let the small size of this little center fool you. It's packed with artifacts, great wildlife information, and a peek under the waves. San Francisco has so many recreational opportunities. Get connected with the sanctuaries in person. Go sailing, rent a paddleboard, sit on the sand, bike the shoreline, or even visit one of the area's many landmarks like Alcatraz. While there are so many things to see and do in the Bay Area, we will continue our journey south to Half Moon Bay and our next stop, Pillar Point Harbor. We're in Pillar Point Harbor, just north of Half Moon Bay. There are 4 thriving harbors in the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. In addition to Pillar Point, there's Santa Cruz, Moss Landing, and Monterey. These are great places to visit, to see the boats, to charter a fishing or whale watching trip, rent a kayak or a paddleboard, or get some fresh seafood. Each of the harbors has an active fishing fleet, so be sure to look for signs of the freshest catch of the day. As we make our way south, we pass by our favorite tide pool location at Fitzgerald Marine Reserve. Be sure to hit it at low tide to make this part of your Central Coast experience. About an hour south of San Francisco is Half Moon Bay. Visitors come to shop and stroll along Main Street or stop at the many fruit and garden stands in and around town. A great event is the annual Pumpkin Festival in mid-October. The historic downtown and the beautiful beaches and parks make Half Moon Bay one of the most picturesque places along the Central Coast experience. Pigeon Point Lighthouse and its accompanying international hostel is a favorite stop along Highway 1 between Half Moon Bay and Santa Cruz. This lighthouse is one of the tallest in the United States and the most visited on the West Coast. There are actually over 250 shipwrecks in the sanctuary. You know, these days ships navigate with high-tech satellites and computerized mapping, but once upon a time, lighthouses like this one were critical to mariners. To learn more, visit the Visitor Center. In addition to the light station at Pigeon Point, there are some nice tide pools, and just to the south at Año Nuevo State Reserve is one of the 2 land-based elephant seal colonies in California. We will learn more about these amazing creatures down in San Simeon. A favorite activity all along the sanctuary shore is tide pooling, that is, exploring the rocky intertidal zone. But there are rules for the pools, and that means basically that we just want to observe these plants and animals in their natural habitat. And if we want to pick up something, we want to do so very gently and then put them back right where we found them. Another thing is to make sure you know what's happening with the surf, because sometimes the surf can surprise you. You don't want that. Some of the best tide pooling along the Central Coast can be found at the Fitzgerald Marine Reserve, or at Natural Bridges, or at Asilomar. You just can't take a trip to the California Central Coast without a visit to Santa Cruz. Hey, it's Surf City, dude, and that's why I've got my board and my wetsuit, and I'm heading out on the water. And joining me is the mayor of Santa Cruz, Hillary Bryant. Welcome, Hillary.
Good morning, great to be here.
So tell us about what visitors can expect when they come to the beach boardwalk area.
It's great. You know, you can go to the beach boardwalk, ride the Giant Dipper, run on over to the Sanctuary Exploration Center, hit the beach for a little while, then jump in the ocean to cool off.
Oh, that sounds great. So that's what we're going to do, right? You're going to teach me a few things?
We're going to teach you a few things. Cowell's is a good break to learn on, and then as you get a little more experience, we'll go around the corner.
All right. Well, let's go.
All right.
So I'm hanging out here with some surfing legends from Santa Cruz at the Santa Cruz Surfing Museum, and we're going to learn about the history of surfing and about this museum. So what is it you feel when you're in the water and you're sitting on your board?
It's the aesthetic quality and beauty of the light. The water is cold, but it rivals that of the North Shore of Oahu for geographic vicinity of the most given surf breaks within a small area. There's point breaks and beach breaks and advanced, beginner, the whole bit. The whole realm is all so concise within this Santa Cruz county.
That's why we're all so keenly interested in preserving the history of surfing and the real soul of the sport.
I'm standing in front of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary Exploration Center, right across the street from the world-famous Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. This is the premier visitor center on the West Coast for the Marine Sanctuary program. I'm now inside the Sanctuary Exploration Center, and wow, it is amazing. The Sanctuary Exploration Center is a great place to come to learn about the marine sanctuary and be inspired about ocean conservation. And I'm here with Sandy, one of the great volunteers we have here. What are some of the more popular exhibits that you find people really hovering at and clamoring to interact with?
Well, it depends on the age group. The older folks, like my age, love the film, gets them off their feet, and they can experience the sanctuary vicariously. The younger, the toddlers, love the watershed. They love to spin the steering wheel, make it rain, and climb in the drain pipe and touch the animals. And then the middle age group, they really head right for the remotely operated vehicle.
One of the great things about the Exploration Center is it's free, and it's right across the street from the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. You gotta come check it out. One of the most visited places in Santa Cruz is the 100-year-old pier with great restaurants and shops and amazing views of the sanctuary and wildlife. It's also a great place to take in the sights of the world-famous Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. You know, Santa Cruz has got something for everyone. A great place to make your connection with the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. This is so exciting. We're on the famous Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk with all the great rides, and the great games, and the great food. And we're going to go ride the Giant Dipper. And from up top on the roller coaster, we're going to look out across the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. Come on, let's go ride. Back in the Sanctuary Exploration Center, and I'm in the gift store, and I'm trying on some cool t-shirts and looking at all the great stuff here. And I'm with Krista Hammond with Santa Cruz Sea Glass. Krista, welcome to your sanctuary.
Hi, Paul.
So I have this really cool piece of sea glass that we found out on the beach. Tell us about sea glass and how you got into this and what you do with it.
Sea glass has been a lifetime passion of mine. I've been picking it up since I was a little kid. I was lucky enough to grow up in California along the coast. And my mom would tell my sister and I to go find her emeralds at the beach. I think it was her way of getting a few minutes by herself, but it always stuck with me, and I've always looked for sea glass my whole life.
So Krista, how did you get involved with the Exploration Center?
Well, Paul, when I started making jewelry in 2007, it really became evident to me that all of my great pieces of sea glass have come from within the Monterey Bay Sanctuary. I pretty much have hunted from San Francisco down to Big Sur. And it was very important for me to give back to the ocean, but to be able to contribute to such a beautiful facility like this one, it just feels really great. So not only having my jewelry be featured here in the gift shop, but I just recently came out with a beautiful book that's all about my collection of sea glass from this Santa Cruz area, and I'm wanting to donate 10% back to the facility for that.
Great.
Yeah, so it's just a way of coming full circle. I wanted to make guilt-free jewelry that not only supports the ocean, but people feel really good about wearing.
Santa Cruz has so many opportunities to learn more about the ocean. Be sure not to miss one of my favorites, the Seymour Center. Designed to highlight the research at UC Santa Cruz, this Marine Science Center hosts live animal exhibits, a touch tank, and an 87-foot skeleton of a blue whale. We're at Elkhorn Slough National Estuarine Research Reserve with the Moss Landing Harbor and Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary right behind me. In fact, the Marine Sanctuary extends all the way up the main channel of the slough. Elkhorn Slough is the second largest coastal wetland in California. You know, these coastal wetlands and estuaries are so critically important to migratory waterfowl along the Pacific Flyway and as nursery grounds for commercial fisheries. People come from all around to see the amazing wildlife here, enjoy the miles of trails. It's truly a spectacular opportunity. Don't miss this spot along your Central Coast experience. One of the most popular things to do in the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary is go kayaking. And there are great opportunities, like right here in Moss Landing and Elkhorn Slough, or if you're more adventurous, out of Monterey and Santa Cruz, where you can rent kayaks. The thing we want to do when we're out on the water, enjoying the wildlife, is to be respectful and stay a safe distance away from them. As a general rule, we say about 75 feet. We want people to go out and have a great time on the water, see the amazing wildlife, and and enjoy them, and they enjoy you as well. Let's go kayaking. The Elkhorn Slough Moss Landing area is such a great place to explore and enjoy. Thank you so much for joining us on the Central Coast Experience. Be sure to tune in on our next episode as we continue our journey along the shores of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary.